Let's do a brake job on this Hyundai. Let's go. Whenever I do any brake jobs, I always like to push the piston back in the caliper. Now, to make this easier, I always crack the bleeder screw and then I slowly wind the piston back. This causes less buildup of pressure in the caliper, less damaging effects on the master cylinder, and it makes pushing the piston way easier. Plus, it's a quick bleed. Once the piston is fully pushed back, we tighten up our bleeder screw and now we start our disassembly. Let's go. First, we remove the 2 caliper bolts and then put the caliper off to the side. This is going to expose our brake pads. These pads are really worn, so we'll use a flathead screwdriver to pry the pads from the rotor. Now we'll remove the 2 bolts holding on the caliper mounting bracket. Next, we remove the factory rotor screws, and these help hold the rotor in place for easy installation. Before installing the new rotor, I always like to clean and prep my surfaces. When installing the new rotor, make sure to thoroughly clean the surface of the rotor. During packaging, it is oiled to help prevent corrosion. One of the most important parts of a brake job is to make sure you grease up the caliper sliding pin. Lots of people do not do this and it causes the calipers to seize and wear unevenly. So make sure you grease both sliding pins. Here's an example of one sliding pin that has not been greased properly. It has been seized. So with some little effort, we're going to try to remove this. Now that we remove the pin and the boot, we're going to thoroughly clean the hole. Once we clean the hole, we can then use some sandpaper on the pin itself, clean it up, re-grease everything, and put it in. When you leave a caliper to get seized like this, it'll cause the brake pads to wear unevenly. It'll cause calipers to just seize up, and this is not good. So make sure you do your brake jobs properly. So this job would not be completed without the new caliper mounting bracket hardware. So what we're going to do is remove the old ones, thoroughly clean this caliper mounting bracket, and install the new hardware for our new pads. Now, anytime I go to reinstall any bolt, it doesn't matter what bolt it is, I always use some medium strength Loctite. This is to ensure that my bolts will never back out. The medium strength Loctite definitely helps you secure your job. Now here we are with the installation of our new brake pads. Now before installing the new brake pads, I like to give it a light coating of grease on top of the ears of the pads. This is to help the brake pads easily slide back and forth with that caliper piston so it can easily wear evenly. Guys, trust me, do this, you never regret it. Alrighty, so let's swing that caliper back onto our brake pads and onto the caliper mounting bracket. Again, when we're installing our bolts, we're going to use some medium strength Loctite. That way we can secure this job. Again, guys, you want to have a secured job. Medium strength Loctite will do that for you. You don't have to worry about those bolts backing out. Then you're going to tighten it up, tighten it nice and snug. Don't over tighten it because you can snap the bolt. Finally, double check that bleeder and put the cap back on. And now you can put your wheel back on, torque it down, and you are good to go. You just completed your first brake job. Let's get it, guys.